All right, we're back within the pod with Jory and Chris.
How you doing? I'm Chris.
And I'm Jory. So,
Welcome to our second or third edition. I don't know what this one is. We have one on hold. We're gonna kind of go through pieces together. So if you're listening to this one and you already have heard our second one, then thank you for
then we can
joining
call
us
this
for free.
2.5.
Yeah, there you go.
Edition 2.5. We have our website up and running. Hopefully by the time this one is published.
Yes.
Um,
I'll try to work on that, even though I'm down a laptop now. But I will find a means to get things rolling.
But until then, I can still upload it to YouTube. We'll figure out a way to share it. But we can even make our own. Anyway, we can talk about all that later.
Yeah, that's off the line, offline.
But it's been the weekend. I'm excited to do this new podcast.
Yeah, man. How was New Year's?
New Year's was good. I was a much needed let my hair down and relax type of night. I was up till 6. I did drink a little, but watched some Star Wars, hung out with the kids. They went to bed, and then, it was a good night, man. It was good. I feel refreshed, and I feel like I hit the reset button.
Good, man. Good. Well, as you know, I worked.
Yeah.
Like most of maybe the listeners and most. No, I mean not most, but
some people don't know.
select
We
few.
worked 911.
Yeah.
You worked
Yeah.
911. How was that?
It was busy as hell. Actually, I was TAC 5, and it was interesting.
Yeah.
But enough on that BS. I'm glad you had a good time. If I was off New Year's Eve, my old ass, I'd probably been in bed by like 11.
I did pass out about 10:30. Took a little nap. But little update on the turkey, since we touched on it last time. Turkey turned out phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was juicy. And the cinnamon and apple really had the flavor popping on that one. So
Good stuff. Good stuff.
it was freaking good. It was so good. I also brined some chicken breast with it too. Oh
Nice.
my God, I was in heaven. Cooked that tonight, and then I took a bite. And when it exceeds your expectations, you just it was good.
That's one thing about cooking, man. Like, not to beat a dead horse, and it seems like all we talk about is food. Like what you
But
said,
hey,
sitting in
if
the
you don't like
kitchen.
what we're talking about, go ahead and go watch cat videos on YouTube.
No, but that's what I like about cooking is, you take a little bit from this or that, or you follow recipes here and there, and then, you add in what you like,
Mm-hmm.
So this is just the beginning. I gave you some tools to put in your tool belt and take it from there, just like with anything in life, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, I'm on poultry right now. I can't wait till we get to pork, man. Because I do want to cook a pork roast, probably smoke it. And I know you like to smoke, so.
Oh yeah, that's a technique in and of itself. Smoking meat, you gotta make sure your temperature's right. You gotta make sure, you have the appropriate seasonings to complement whatever you're cooking.
Yeah.
Things like that. So, that's a whole nother. I could talk about
when
that.
we get on that, yeah.
Yeah, I could talk about it for days, and I don't really want to talk about fucking cooking right now.
Yeah. What about, you watch any good movies? You watch any good movies lately? Other than Star Wars, we already beat on that in our other podcast. That is,
Pending.
yeah, that is pending. But other than Star Wars, you watch anything good?
Let's see. Saw Creed.
Creed, how was that?
Creed was awesome, man. Creed was awesome.
Got mixed reviews, and so.
So I don't know who gave mixed reviews. I don't know. I grew up a Rocky kid. I grew up in, I was born in 82.
And those seem to be the worst critics, are the people who grew up watching Rocky and are the hardcore fans. They're the ones who are criticizing.
I don't know. I think people sometimes make things out to be more than what it should. It wasn't about Rocky. It was about Apollo Creed's son, Adonis. And about him.
I like how they did that, Apollo and Adonis.
Right?
The Greeks.
Yeah. And his dad, Apollo, had an affair with a lady. He was married but had an affair, which created Adonis. Apollo dies in a fight against the Germans.
Yeah.
And
Ivan Drago.
yeah, and then his mom was a drug addict, and after he was born died, and so he was shuffled around in foster care. Well, Apollo's wife found him, took him in, and kind of raised him on his, but he was instinctively an angry kid. Didn't know who his parents, knew his mom died, didn't know his dad. Came to find out his dad kind of wanted to take on that legacy of his dad. I mean, he had money, he had a pretty damn good job, but all he wanted to do was fight, to kind of find his own identity. And it was about him reaching out to, he found out who Rocky was, obviously through the fights. Went to inquire, told him who he was, and then kind of Adonis.
Since I haven't seen it, let's avoid any spoilers.
Okay, Adonis kind of took Rocky as like, you're my uncle.
Yeah.
Like, you're my uncle. I'm going to treat you as my uncle. Teach me to fight. And then it's about that struggle Rocky has about all the past, life that he had and the results of fighting and what it costs to fight. And then trying to teach this kid about fighting and, being your own. So
essentially, and I'm just kind of joking, but it's pretty much the real remake of Karate Kid.
Yeah, but a much better actors, what I mean? Sylvester Stallone is in it. So, Sly and...
I don't mean that with disrespect, because I like the Karate Kid. The original one's great. I like the original Karate Kid, and they butchered the second one, so
oh, yeah,
I'm excited to see
that was garbage.
Creed.
But I would recommend Creed to anybody who's listening. Creed is a really good one. But yeah, not so much. I'm really haven't had time. I briefly told you earlier, the wife and kids are back in California for a short duration or long, depending on the way things materialize or what have you. So just trying to get my ducks in order for myself. Hitting the gym a lot. And it was funny that you talk about you hitting a wall with your weight, because I not necessarily were hitting a wall with my weight, but I felt a shift in my metabolism and my diet, and I felt kind of bloated. And I don't eat the healthiest and stuff. I kind of just eat whatever, and I've been like that for a while. But
you still look good. You're sexy.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. But yesterday, I started back up, and today, and I made it a point to really try to concentrate on what I'm consuming, making sure I'm putting in good calories, trying to cut out a lot of junk.
Processed foods.
Yeah, processed food junk, because it's really starting to take a toll on my metabolism, my stamina,
Mm-hmm.
I'm out there running, because what I did today is I ran. I did the treadmill, but I did went up and
all that intensity.
Yeah, it went hard,
the heart rate.
Yeah, and then down, stuff like that, and then I did that for about a mile or so, and then I went over and I went on the bike and rode the bike for about 3.5, 4 miles.
I want to say, for anyone who's listening, if you ain't ever done that, and if you're tired of sitting on a treadmill, running a mile, you get bored, or you hit a plateau, that's probably the best way to do it. That passes the time. Passes the time is that intensity training. Running hard for a short duration and bringing it back down to lower your heart rate and bringing it back up. I mean, you can get through a mile and it'll feel maybe like 5 minutes, even if you've been on it 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it takes you. It doesn't matter. It's all about the exertion and the effort that you feel like you're putting out. But I think that has better results, and it also will make it a little more fun.
Right. And I kind of, for me, I had it's been about 2 weeks since I actually was consistently in the gym. I kind of went, over the holiday, this past, Christmas and the week before Christmas, because I had some knee issues and I had one of my shoulders was kind of tweaked. And so I kind of was trying to take it a little bit easy, give myself, my body a little bit of rest, because I had been working it pretty hard prior to that. And then so it was just kind of like getting back into that rhythm again,
Yeah.
So it felt good. I did a really good back, shoulder, and arm workout. And then tomorrow I'm going to go and do chest and a few other body parts. And, I try to do cardio every time I'm in the gym, no matter what body whatever core element I'm doing, whether it's chest, legs, back, whatever, I always try to do cardio prior. So I warm up with cardio, whether it be, no less than 15 minutes, whether it be cycling or running or something like that, just to, get my heart rate going, get the blood flowing really good, loosened up real nice, and then I go and then I work out for about an hour and a half, 2 hours depending.
We at the lab, when I go through my actual workouts, weightlifting workouts, if that's the first workout we do run for 15 minutes before we do our lifting. And I used to just work out without doing any kind of stretching or anything, and I find that my endurance during weightlifting has increased just by warming up. Warming up is really important.
Yeah.
I'm only 27, and at 20, 21, your warm up isn't really much. You just go, all right, let's go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But less lactic acid build up, and you're able to get a full, good workout in there.
Yeah. I still think about when I was that age, in my 20s, and especially my early 20s, and like you said, you could do anything. In college, you drink all night, get up, and then you go train in the morning. And same thing when I was in the Marine Corps. We'd be out freaking drinking all night, and then be up at PT at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. We're out there running, 5-6 miles with freaking.
That's what Marines are known for, is drinking.
Yeah, drinking, smoking, fucking, and fighting. You know what I mean? So it's but I'm not a young guy anymore, and I don't do any much of the other stuff like fighting or anything like that, which I want to get back into. And now that I have some available time on my hand, I'm probably going to get back into some stuff. But yeah, just it feels good. Like I said, I just want to keep upright, and if I plan on crossing over to the other side.
Well, I was telling you, and I'm serious about it. I want to go hiking on the weekends with you. We can go South Mountain or whatever's closer. Go hike up.
Well, where you are and where I am, I'm off.
83rd.
I'm off the freeway up there, and so it wouldn't really matter to me unless, like you said, if you're getting off work here and you want to meet there, I can do that. Or if you wanted to go to like Thunderbird.
It don't have to be a hike. I show up to your house, do a little fight drilling, help me out with my drills. Nothing hard, and then go for a run. That'd be nice. Yeah. Go for a little run. You push me.
I don't want to get squashed by your big
ass.
Oh,
come on. That's what. Man, it ain't about that. I just want to get my movements in. Get a couple.
I feel you.
Every little bit, man. Every little bit.
Absolutely, man.
I'm all about that. So that'd be nice.
Here's something I wanted to talk about. So lately, I'm not big on social media. I mean, we're Facebook friends or whatever.
Yeah.
But I post stuff on my family or whatever, my kids, and things like that. I keep up, comment on a friend's post here and there, or whatever. But as far as like being active on it, you know what I mean? Like, that's just not me. Never really been me. But I find it funny that sometimes when I'm on there and I see people like co-workers or family or friends or whatever, like when they post comments and they're like, hey, why is everybody in my business, or like why is, oh my God, life is so terrible today, and like, and then in the next breath they're like, I didn't invite everybody into my business, and it's just like, what? Yes, you did. Well, you put this shit on social media where everybody and their mama and their friends can see it. So what the hell? Like get out of here with that nonsense.
Or even where it's like, oh well, didn't expect that to happen, or today was just a horrible day. What happened? And you don't see a post, a comment back or anything. Where it's
private message me. I'll tell you my life story and cry about it. Like, come on, folks.
But I think a part of that is, in today's world, people don't have friends. Like, I have the advantage of being able to talk with you,
That's true.
and being able to vent to you about it. But when that stuff builds up, we're social creatures. We want to get it out. So some people they don't know how it's going to be received on social media, but
they feel that's their only outlet.
And then, when they get the critique from people who aren't as close, or maybe tell them what they don't want to hear, that's when they're like, oh, I didn't invite you into my business, Yeah. It's tough, but, surround yourself with people, make it a point. Make it a point to have someone you can talk to. I think that's
Yeah.
important.
You always need someone in your corner, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It makes it.
Makes a world of a difference.
It does. You know, you always should believe in yourself, but it always helps with someone else
Oh,
is in your
absolutely.
corner believing in you and having someone to talk to, and that's part of it. But I agree with you when. Or people who argue on the internet, man.
Mm-hmm.
I remember a while back I made a post just trying to make it funny, and someone got offended, and
Yeah, I see. No, I see that all the time. I see people, intentionally create controversy by, making borderline racial remarks or comments about whatever, whether it be political figures or service or whatever, and then everybody wants to go to arms, and it's like this big old pissing contest and stuff, and it's just like, okay, and I get it, and I have some friends that are like, like for instance when Paris got shot up, right? And people were, Facebook had the app where you can change your profile pic to the flag, and they're like, oh, changing of your profile picture with the flag isn't gonna do anything. Way to do something. Way to change the culture. Yeah. It's just like, okay, well, you're not necessarily you maybe you're not changing anything, but at least, if it does eventually reach whomever across the globe, somebody, you may have a French friend or whatever that sees and they say, okay, well, this person is standing with us.
Yeah, and I experienced that, what you just said, but in a positive way. Like when I had my fight and I put the video up and then someone shared the video, I was like, oh, that's real cool. They saw it and they liked it. It made me feel good. It felt like a support system.
Right.
What I'm doing.
And I think that's what, in essence, it's about. It's about being there. Not everyone can fly to France to bear arms and go fucking fight ISIS. Yeah. You know what I mean? And yeah, of course, we're all in our own relatively cozy communities here in the United States and stuff like that. But, when that shit comes knocking on your door, you know what I mean? Are you gonna be mad if somebody does the same thing and puts an American flag up, or, say, hey, we're here with you. We understand the struggles. We had our 9/11, and that was to them their version of a mass killing and, September 11th kind of attack. Comparison, obviously, body count was, tilted scale wise, but, for pacifist culture as the French people are, you know what I mean, all about love and, wine. It was something that, I don't know, I don't mean to go off on this, but like I said, it's just interesting to me how people can take something so insignificant and blow it up.
Absolutely. Well, it's another thing. You remember that guy who was shamed for, he was a fat guy, he was dancing in the clubs, and he saw someone take a picture of him, and he stops dancing, the guy shamed him across social media. Well, some girls got a hold of it, and they started sharing it, like, look at this asshole, he's sharing, they're shaming this guy who's just trying to have fun and make him feel bad for having fun. So they threw him a whole party, invited nothing but girls. And then they found out who the guy was, and then they threw him this party. I mean, it was in the thousands of the girls who showed up for this one guy. They threw him a party, and that must have made him feel so good. So, yeah. And it's something that they figured out, hey, how can we do something for him? Yeah. And just random person saw that post of shaming the asshole who shamed him, and they're like, let's throw him a party. Yeah. So they got together, threw him a party, and we can't do that for France or something, but it's the support that you can get online now.
Right, and and it goes back to my whole, and what I've noticed, not necessarily my whole, but what I've noticed, the change in our cultural society. Like, granted, we're making great strides to, unite and be a people less divisive and break color barriers, continuously trying to break color barriers or social barriers, and but yet there's always going to be somebody trying to bring you down. But it's interesting to me to see how fast that can go left and or right.
The momentum shifts.
Yeah, the momentum shifts are so gradual or so huge and monumental and impact people's lives. Just like bullying on social media. You hear all these stories of these, teenagers that are killing themselves because they were shamed or harassed or bullied on social media, and it's just, where the hell are these parents that are supposed to be, intervening on this one, and how do you not know what your kid's doing? How do you not track your kids? I'll be damned if my kids are, if let's say Facebook is still around or as popular as it is, or they go to some other social app by the time my kids are, in that teen era and stuff like that, and I don't have access and I'm not monitoring what the hell they're doing, it'd be a cold day in hell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And teaching kids respect or in general. There's the lack of, respect for others, and, that goes into respecting yourself, respecting adults, your peers around you. Granted, everyone is entitled to their own opinion, but I'm a strong believer that there's a time and a place to share your opinion, and it needs to be done in a way that is positive towards change and or addressing a true social grievance, right? Rather than just going out there and saying, oh, Black Lives Matter, and we're going to go out and riot and raise hell and destroy lives and stomp on the flags. And you know what I mean? It's like, really? How is that impactful? How about going out into your community and reaching out to whites in your communities or Latinos or blacks or whatever and trying to close that divide? And if you're a white person and you're a Black Lives Matter supporter, how about you go and you educate, not saying, everyone's racist because he's black and he's got dreads and he's sagging his pants, and it's just like, okay, well if this kid's out there fucking thugging and gangbanging and selling dope and you know what I mean, and robbing and stealing and you know what I mean, and committing all these atrocities, and now we're supposed to just say, oh, and it's the white man's fault? Come on now, we live in 2016. You know what I mean?
I was about to say 15. Holy crap! It's New Year's. Happy New Year.
It's 2016. Like the fact is there are opportunities out there, and it's up to you as the individual to reach, to try to strive for that greatness. No one keeps you down but yourself. It don't matter where you come from.
Yeah, I think it comes down to what you told me a while ago about people feeling disenfranchised. People feeling disenfranchised. I was thinking about that. It's like with social media, it's a good thing, but also there's pros and cons of it. Well, I think one of the cons is that's the community now. Outside of social media, I don't think people really feel a sense of community, face to face.
Right.
Who's your neighbor? Do you have a good relationship with your neighbors, the people you come in contact with every day, or are you constantly looking at your phone when you're ordering your coffee? Are you constantly looking at your phone when you're in the supermarket? I make a point to make eye contact with people.
Yeah, and technology is a big catalyst to that, right? Because I was, speaking of which, you talk about social media and the obsession with being on your phone. Everyone is on their phone. Watch when you're driving down the road, how many people are looking down at their phones, texting or checking their Facebook status. And I saw a lady today, she had 5 kids in her fucking car. She almost got into 2 accidents within a 100-yard stretch because she was over there playing on her damn phone.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until after I had passed her that I was thinking, because I saw her from a distance and I'm watching her swerve and oh shit, I almost hit this car parked on the side of the road twice, that I was thinking, you know what, man, I wish I would have had the forethought to blare my horn at her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To make her like look up
at
the road, because she did the whole time. Her face was down in her palm. And
speaking of road rage, I just want to make a note that the same people who drive erratically and are in a rush to get somewhere are the same people sitting in front of you in the grocery store walking slow as hell on their phone.
Yeah, it's a trip, man.
It's a weird.
So where were we living, man?
Absolutely.
It's not as simple as it once was, where kids were outside playing like they used to. One thing I can't appreciate about certain cultures, and more specifically the Hispanic culture, that I've noticed, especially in the West Phoenix area, is that, they're still really, really active in getting their kids out there. Granted, some of them are, should be out there because they're a little bit heavy, but they're out there playing, and, whether it be soccer or basketball or whatever. And, you hardly see that in communities anymore. You don't really see kids outside active. When we were kids and there was no cell phones and, and video games were, a rarity because they were so expensive and parents couldn't afford it, kids went out and they played and they rode their bikes and they were, and they socialized in the neighborhood with other neighborhood kids, which caused parents to have to socialize to know who's my kid playing with and who's my kid, what is this a good house or a bad house? Is this parent a pedophile or what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
can I go stay the night at whoever's house? I haven't met him yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
I haven't met him yet.
Yeah. And it's interesting, man. Like, it's interesting to see the culture shift in the dynamic that it does and create the disenfranchisement, the isolation. You know what I mean? You study a lot more introverted individuals.
Yeah.
Social awkwardness. When they come in on job, whether it be job interviews or whatever, because people don't know how to communicate anymore. They don't know how to make
body language.
body language, eye-to-eye contact, handshake. Just gesture. Even appearances. Parents used to. You couldn't just go outside and play in your pajamas. You know what I mean? You had to get dressed, and you had. There were certain requirements that left. My grandma, she's 86 years old. She'll be 87 in a couple days. And she, too, today, I sat and chit-chatted with her, and she kind of was like, maybe I'm just old, but she's like, I just don't understand the culture today. She's saying about, like, her great-grandkids and great-great-grandkids and their lifestyle and what they do, and she was just like, I just truly believe that, granted, there should be freedom, but there should be some sort of a structure, a box that people operate within and work out of, because you have to teach kids fundamentals of discipline, of behavior, which will lead to educational success, career success, that isn't taught anymore. They just let everything kind of be chaotic, and kids running around however these days, and it's just an okay social norm. Like, that's just the way it is today. And and you're seeing the negative impacts of that. Now, granted, there are successful individuals that are continuously coming up, and that'd be an interesting statistic to kind of check out, and to see these kids who are successful, who have corporate jobs, or really successful paying jobs, or higher paying jobs, degrees, things like that, who come from a family that is structurally disciplined, and those who don't, and kind of see where that lies, and how much that plays a factor. I don't know, maybe that'd be a kind of an interesting social norm experiment to kind of dabble in. I sure as hell won't, but
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting to read into something like that. I definitely would like to see something like that, but I don't know, man. I see where you're going with that. I just haven't thought about it enough to have really an opinion on anything. Because I read a quote sometime, and I'm gonna butcher the crap out of it, but it basically said, there's a guy dying on his deathbed, and he tells his son, I wanted to change the world. And I got a little older, and I wanted to change the country. And I got older, and I wanted to change my state. And it gets lower and lower, and he goes, now I realize I just got to change myself. And then it works from himself outward, changes the people around you, making an influence on people. Because you can't change the world. When people argue their opinions online or whatever, they get into an argument, part of that is listening. You listen to someone, like I take 911 calls. When I first got on, I was arguing with people. Just listen to me. I know what to ask. But if it's not a dire emergency where I have time to listen, I'll let someone rant. They're angry. They're upset. They're calling. I'll listen to them. And then they'll usually be like, oh, I haven't heard this guy talk for a minute. You still there? Yeah, I'm just listening to you. And that makes the situation come down. We can actually communicate, And if you take that into any kind of interaction you have, you listen to people. Like I said, and this is just taking examples of everyday life. I go to a grocery store, and I listen to the clerk making eye contact. Instead of just telling her what I need this, I need that, I'm like, I sit there and I wait for her to prompt. She's been through it a million times that day. So I'm going to wait for her to ask my questions, answering them genuinely, whatever. You need any ice or snaps? Not today, thank you. Instead of not today, looking at my phone, nope. It's part of the listening thing is you plant a seed with your opinions. Instead of being angry, if you can make someone feel listened to, they're more likely to listen to you. And then you make a little bit of an impact on that person's day. And they're going to maybe contemplate it that night. Maybe not. Not everyone's as open-minded.
Or pass it on.
Absolutely.
Right. And you're building a chain of events that are creating change.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. That's an everyday thing, though. That's an everyday. How many times have you told me, man, I was talking to someone today, and they said something really interesting to me. You've told that to me many a times. And that's part of them that's what I'm talking about. You know, that's how you create change. It's not telling you're wrong, I'm right, listen to me, whatever. All the anger, it has its place. Anger, uh, you know, being upset about something, that's what prompts change. You got to be upset about something, but you also got to go about it the right way.
Right, yeah, and even passionate. You know,
Yep.
passion can be misconstrued as anger at times,
Yep.
and you know, and it's great to be passionate about something.
Yeah, because when I get going something passionate, I get amped up. I'm talking, oh, blah, 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 blah. I'm going a million miles an hour until like after about a minute, then I'm like, slow down, your heart rate's coming up,
Yeah.
breathe, you know.
Oh yeah.
But I'm a quote master, so I'm sorry, people. But Fight Club, that movie Fight Club, when he's talking to, I think the girl's Marla Singer. Actually, that is her name. But they're talking to each other, and she goes, you know, it's just two people are just talking, waiting for their turn to talk. They're not listening, they're waiting for their turn to talk.
Yeah.
And it's so true, man. It's so true.
Oh yeah. You see that a lot.
And with all the text, it kind of messes up that face-to-face communication, too.
Absolutely, man. That's why I try not to text unless I have to. Or I use it as a means of, like, if my buddy is away from me, far, like you sit afar from me, and we'll have a conversation via text because we can't sit next to each other, but it's, you know, it's very, very seldom is it, you know, 1 or 2 words or 5 words. It's a freaking paragraph because it's like, let's engage in conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when you were telling me about the podcast, the first one, and it was a success, you know, it's like, you know, we were engaging in a narrative there, you know, back and forth. It wasn't just 1 or 2 words. It was, you know, couple sentences back and forth to each other, you know, and
we're having fun with it.
Yeah, having fun with it and just being able to.
And it had this. How we not be recording this right now? We'd still be having this conversation.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
We'd still be having this conversation.
Well, this is what the pod is. The pod is just Jory and Chris sitting together, and you know, 2 guys, you know, from 2 different backgrounds, who have commonalities, who have common interests, that enjoy each other's company.
And are different enough to where it's like a yin and yang.
Yeah.
I love listening to you talk. When I hear you talk and you have your perspective, you've been in the military. I've never been in the military. I remember a couple of years ago, I was all gung ho, I want to go. You know, I felt like there's something I need to do in my life. And listening to you, being in the military, like, but why? But why? You got your stuff together, you're doing this, just why? You know, and that wasn't, you weren't trying to deter me, you were just really trying to get me to question myself.
Yeah, to
what are
think
your motives?
about,
yeah.
right, exactly, and that's all I, you know, and good friends, you know, and I try to be a great friend to you and to others that I interact with. It's, you know, challenging each other to increase each other's success, right? And it has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
It has everything to do with you and my interest in you as a friend. You know, I see you growing in a young man who has a lot of aspirations, you know, come from a difficult background, a lot of things to look forward to in life. And being that I have a few steps ahead of you and have done different things, hey, here's my nuggets. And if you want to do something that I've done or dabbled in or whatever, I'll give you my opinion. I'll question you on it to see where your head is, and if you and if it's not something that, you know, if it's something that is concerning, at least to me, in the matter of, hey, you know, if it's just, oh, I just want to go in the military because it's cool.
Yeah.
Well, really, you know, let me tell you the coolness about my experience, and then you take it for whatever you want. And if you do it, hey, good for you. If you don't, then.
Well, there's a lot of conversations we have. More often than not, I go home thinking about the talks we have. And thank God we talk more than other guys do with their best friends. And we talk about meaningful stuff. I go home and I still think about it, and I'm like, man, I'm just inspired for the day. That it's good stuff. It's good, fruitful stuff that makes me feel better as a person as far as the stuff I think about the stuff it just opens up so many networks in my brain of the stuff I need to think about, the positive side of my life. If I'm having a bad day, we still talk, we get going, and then we just have, I don't know, it makes my day better. I'm going to wake up with a positive outlook, and it's all about that community and having good friends to talk to, but I don't know where I'm going with it. I think I kind of hit it on the head, but it's just I love having conversations.
Absolutely, man, and I mutually feel the same benefit. You know what I mean? It's, you know, it's good, and there's often times where you've helped me, and you know, and when I've hit roadblocks, and that's the point of the pod, and that's the point of, is us being able to expand this with other people. And as we wrap up, I just would like to say, I hope you guys continue to listen. I know some stuff is kind of random
hey,
and
I'm gonna
boring.
go to the bathroom. Will you wrap this up?
But
You wrap this up?
yeah.
All right, man. All right. Well, I'll talk to you guys later. Jory's out. Chris gonna talk to you guys with his velvety smooth voice.
This guy's a joker. Anyways, but yeah, thanks for listening to the pod today. It's January 2nd at about 2:28 in the morning. We're going to wrap this podcast up and just say, thanks for listening. And if there's anything that you guys have taken from this, use it in your daily life. This is all about sharing and personal growth and development, and talking about things that maybe aren't necessarily discussed or taboo to discuss. And if you guys have any suggestions, comments that you'd like to add on, let us know. All right, we're out.